quick updates for you guys. We can obviously do Q&A, so if you have a question, please drop it in the Q&A section. Let me turn screen share on.
Paul said it's 50 out here in California, so everybody thinks it's cold. That's funny.
Is it California or Canada, right? The CA throws me. I never know. Is he talking country? I think, well,
I'm assuming California being 50, so and they think
yeah,
it's
I would
cold.
assume so too, because
Canada
Canada would be
knows what
freezing.
cold is.
Yeah, I'm showing how smart I really am, Rob. So,
that's just how I always connect dots with every piece of the information.
Yeah, Mr. Data Scientist here. Yeah, definitely California. Where's Paul in California again? We got to know what city, Paul. I think you've told us before, but we should know. So, as we wait for Paul to give us the city, I just want to make a quick announcement. We'll cover a little bit of new material. Some of you will already know some of the concepts, but the big announcement is, because I can't help myself, you guys know this, I added 2 Maxima bots for you. And I added, before we were at about 1,100 bots, now we're at 2,100 bots. But most importantly, I redid the category. And the reason I redid the categories was to make it, I guess, better for navigation, better for, I wanted it to make sense, right? I wanted it to be easy to browse if it loads. Here we go, Rob, spinning. There we go. So you'll see now I've added this badge saying that we have 2,100 bots now, and of all different types. And then these primary filters, you can toggle each on and off, and I'm allowing multiple at a time. So that way, you know, if you were doing SEO, you might also want content toggled to see all the different bots for those 2 categories. So each one is toggle on, toggle off, and they're better categories. So like last week when I was showing you this, I think I had like email and email marketing, and then I had like pay-per-click and email. Like some of our organization was just off. So anyways, it's completely reorganized, has better filters, branched out into some other categories like sales type stuff. Again, the mission that we have for you guys here is to give you a library of bots to do amazing things so that you can do more client work or brand work for yourself and do it faster, do it better. But most importantly, help us build this community, because we'll continue to build these bots, we'll curate these bots, and we'll solve problems with these bots. I think one of the best opportunities we're going to have here as we really boil this down and make them the best that they can be is then going to be demoing to somebody, hey, I want to make such and such a thing, right? Fill in the blank. I want to make a landing page. I want to make a theme soundtrack. I want to make a video. I want to, all of the marketing and advertising and promotion tasks you might be doing online. We want to have a solution for you here at Maxima Bots, and then we want you to power it with your Content Maxima data. So again, it's just it's a huge tool center for you. It may become more popular than Content Maxima. We don't know, but at this point in time, it's your chance to get involved and to shape this. So if you haven't had a chance to browse through the bots, I don't have any other crazy plans to keep adding, tens of thousands of bots. That's not the point. The reason I even went up from 1,100 to 2,100 is there were a lot of things that were like big and glaring and missing to me. So a good example was like newsletters. We had all these bots on emails and drip sequences and abandoned cart and all this other stuff in the email realm. But then there was like, oh, we're missing like newsletters, and we're missing like some of these bigger ideas and concepts just weren't shown in the library. I hadn't thought of them. Working with the different AIs that I've been brainstorming to try to build the most complete, robust library of marketing and advertising bots. It was just trying to find the holes. So again, I'm trying to fill in the things that we don't have, put in the things that you guys want us to have, and then get rid of the bad stuff, the stuff that's not working, the stuff that, doesn't give, the output that you expect. So please, please, please try our Maxima Bots and let us know what's going on. We can run some demos tonight. That's the update with Maxima Bots. I will leave it there just for a second before I switch gears, and I want to talk about a little something else tonight. I guess building your brand. So does anybody have any questions so far on Maxima Bots? Rob, do you have any comments to make? Anything like that?
No, I don't. Besides just if you go through there, as you're going through, if you see things that, like we said last time, just thumb them up, send us a message on the support channel. If you see something that works, doesn't work, or if there's one missing, you're like, wait a minute, what the heck? Why'd you miss this one? So,
yep.
And we'll slowly build them in.
And it is easy to miss because, again, we built this in a way so that we could do scalable deployments, right? So if we come up with a new topic or something that everybody wants, we needed a way to be able to build all of those and have them all at a similar quality level. So in that process, there's definitely areas that can go wrong and things that can break, but we're getting pretty good at it. So a lot less of that's happening now, and it's just open highway for us. So a lot of really exciting stuff. Paul saying some of the local SEO bots look good. Yeah, give them a shot, Paul. And there's a GBP in there and a bunch of other local stuff. And let us know.
That's something I just noticed too, dude.
What?
We still call it Google My Business. We might want to put Google My Business, Google Business Profile.
Yeah, you're right. GBP instead of GMB. Well, what's so funny too is as we're working with the AIs, depending on where their training stops, they would call it different things too, or at least the models that we're on. But yeah, that's funny that you picked up on that for sure. And we were talking about that the other week because I was like, oh, GBP, GMB, it's confusing. But yeah, same thing. All right, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is everybody's asking us, okay, like, how would you guys build a website, or how would you launch a brand, or how would you do this? And we haven't really given you a framework, and I really haven't built this out well yet, but I might have a couple slides. Let me see. I want to talk to you guys about something that Rob and I are going to call the anti-algorithm blueprint. Basically, how to build a brand on the internet that can't be ignored. And when we say can't be ignored, the algorithms can't ignore it because you have all of the right components or parts of the recipe, what they're looking for. So the three parts of this, and if I can get the slides up, I will. I had Manus Auto make me some slides quick while we were talking, just to see if we could make a quick presentation with like no effort. So this is, I don't know how accurate this is, but I'm just, because I literally just had it build this while we were talking and chit-chatting. We'll see how this goes. But so you guys know, we talk about the fact that you're, algorithmically ignored. You're missing a certain sequence of entities or topics or words, and the algorithm then deprioritizes you or pushes you down and doesn't recommend you because you're missing those key components. So most people don't even know that this game exists, right? They still think and they listen to big tech when these companies like Google and Facebook and TikTok and everybody's like, do your content this particular way. Yes, there are platform guidelines and suggestions, but ultimately it's all of this big tech is working the same, and it's looking for the trigger words that I talk about, the specific entities, and a lot of these language models that Rob and I talk about. They're all looking for, an identifiable footprint, right? So one of the things I always talk about is authority. A lot of people don't like my definition for authority, because when I ask an agency owner or a big enterprise brand, I say, what does authority mean to you? It's this very subjective thing. Like the next time you have a meeting with someone, ask them, what does authority mean to you? And they're going to tell you all these things and things that may or may not matter to you. And we for sure know that the bots may or may not care about what they're talking about. And you can never get like a consistent response, right? If I ask somebody what's authoritative, what is it? What is an authority? What does that make up? Is that like someone who has lots of reviews? Is that someone who has a prestigious address? Is that someone who word of mouth is getting recommended? Like it means different things to different people. Is it the company that has the spread in the magazine, or is it the company that has the billboard in town? Like what is authority? When we go online, all authority is, forget everything in our physical world. It's just a definition in a database. So this is where when Rob and I talk about some sort of identifiable footprint or like a DNA level sequence, right? If you can build that footprint, that's what the robot's looking for, right? It's going content to content, message to message, platform to platform, all of the crawlers, all of the social platforms, all of the search engines, and they're looking for this footprint. And the reason they have to get the footprint is understanding. The machine has to understand what you're even talking about. So you can't possibly be recommended until you're understood. And the people who are not understood, if you are not ranking, if you are not getting traffic, if you are not getting sales, if you are not getting leads, it is that you are misunderstood. Because if you were understood, they would recommend you. You have the elements that allow them to recommend you. So the very first step is building this identifiable footprint, because that is authority to the robots. It's just the right sequences, the right DNA pattern that says, hey, this website's about blank, or hey, this Facebook message is about this. So this system, okay, you would use, because if you think about this, the footprint, how do you figure out the footprint that the bot's looking for? That's where our Content Maxima software comes in, right? We are measuring. So when I go to the app and we go to the analysis module, this is measuring in the graph database the ideas that are closest and connected, right? It's looking for those one hop away entities that are sitting in the database. So that those entities that are all in a database, they have like a pattern, like again, like think the DNA helix, right? It has this identifiable pattern to the robots. So this solution here, Content Maxima's analysis, will give you the footprint, and we'll run something here. Can we get a suggestion from somebody in the audience? I'll give it a second. Can we do a
We want like a niche or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody drop a niche in chat that you want us to run as an example.
Niche or industry, please.
Then you can use that fancy training AI bot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the next thing I want to show you guys, because so real quick, while we're waiting for a response from somebody. Sorry, my computer is lagging like crazy. All right. Rob, amazing Rob, just added this button under solutions called Train Your AI. So this ties into, so we're going on a little sidebar tangent here, folks, because he mentioned the Train AI button. So before you use Maxima Bots, you would have to come into Content Maxima and download all of these intelligence reports to put into Maxima Bots. Now, Rob has put into the software the Train AI feature. So now you no longer have to manually pull a report and, one by one save them. This will run a complete report on whatever topic. So we have Paul's asking for a window installation. I'd be happy to do that. So what I'm going to do, as an example, we'll take the analysis report from this, but just to show you guys how this bulk exports all of the other parts of the software. So we'll do window installation. And you'll see down here that it's actually running the entire software suite. Okay, outside of some of the other modules like our social and video and those others, the core data modules, it runs each report automatically for you. And the other interesting thing is that it doesn't assign a persona on the pathways file. So it makes this set of reports truly about your industry. We're not focused on a specific customer type. We're focused on getting an understanding of what all these robots think of your industry and niche without any other factors, right? We haven't put your business information in this. We haven't put your geolocation. We haven't put a persona in. We just want the industry and the niche data. So this automatically runs every part of the software for you so that you don't have to do it anymore manually. It used to take, we timed it for me, like 3 minutes and 41 seconds is used to be the record. Now the new record, I re-timed myself and I put it up on Content Maxima. I think it's 47 seconds now. So we'll go to the website while this is still loading. All right. So yeah, once the signature files completes, the Train AI button is live, Paul. So let me take a step back and say 100% this is live in the app now. You guys can go use it. You should see a Train AI button. If you don't, please let us know, but it's in there. And yeah, it automatically exports all the reports, and you can come down here. You could individually download a report if you wanted to, or you just click the download all files. The only problem with the download all files button that I've experienced right now is on mobile. It will download the first report and then stop. And again, I'm on an iPhone. It might be different on Droid. It might be different on some of these other phone manufacturers. But you might have to just download one by one on a mobile phone. I haven't figured that out yet, but at least now on a desktop or laptop or probably a tablet. I don't know if the tablet runs like a mobile or not, but you can just click the download all files button. And what's great about that is it just downloads all of them in a batch. So let me open this folder here, downloads. So you can see here that there are my 4 Excel files and my 2 PDF files, right? So I didn't have to manually go module by module, tab by tab, download, save, download, save, download, save. You're just saving a ton of time. 47 seconds is what it typically takes me. It might take you a little bit longer, but it's so much better than actually sitting there. So yeah, we have, let's see here, I'm going to Train AI. I just want to show Rob I updated the page. So it was, I can train a custom GPT or AI agent in 3 minutes and 41 seconds with Content Maxima. I timed it. Well, I retimed myself the other day, and it only takes 47 seconds now with the Train AI button. Thank you, Rob, for getting this feature done, because it's going to save us all a ton of time. And then it's going to allow you guys to, when you download these sets, I think if you have different customers or different projects, it'll be really cool to just be able to, put backups here and there. And people say, oh, Ed, you just download once and keep using those files. I realize that LLMs and AI are updating their knowledge base on a regular basis. They're learning from us. They're learning from our actions, our behaviors, our data, our patterns. But yeah, usually when I'm in a project, whatever the snapshot was at that time, I'm just using those files for a while. If I've been working on a project for a couple of months, like a month or two, I might rerun my reports. If it's something super critical, if I'm chasing trends or trying to chase the news or like breaking things, I'm going to always run the live report because I want the most up-to-date ledger of the data. But yeah, 47 seconds, you can get your set of data to take over to Maxima Bots. So let me know if that was clear. And hey, Ricardo, yes, there's people here. There's a bunch of us here. So welcome to the webinar.
I think I'm here.
Yeah, right. We're just covering the train AI button, so it goes a lot faster for using Maxima Bots. Or again, you don't have to use Maxima Bots. You can take these files and think of it as, you know, training or tuning whatever chatbot or AI, you know, that you're talking to with our files. So it puts a whole new world on the Content Maxima software. It opens up all sorts of doors and gates. All sorts of possibilities is what I'm getting at. So anyways, let me know if there's any issues with this, but it's just a massive time saver. The other thing I did for you guys is on the website, because it's something we might forget about, under solutions, I've now included Maxima Bots as a solution. It's still a bonus as far as we're concerned. We're not going to take it away from you guys. We're only going to make it better. But instead of building a section on the website, just for right now, it's just going to jump you right over to the Maxima Bot website. And again, this is where you can browse the bots to use. So if I were you, I would be keeping 2 tabs. I would keep my Content Maxima application, the Train AI open, where I can just train stuff. And then my Maxima Bots, where I can choose the type of bot I want to use, click and drag in my training files, and in a matter of seconds, you're getting awesome quality plans and deliverables. So, all right, that's the tangent that we just went on to let you all know Train AI is here. It's available. It will allow you to use the 2100 Maxima Bots very, very quickly and basically impress anybody. Because if you get a customer who needs something, hey, can you throw together a quick plan to see what you would do for us? I would run to train an AI, type in their industry or niche, and then run to Maxima Bots, export something quick, and win the business. That's how I would be using it. When you finally get hired for the job and you need to impress them, I'm back to Maxima Bots 2, whatever marketing task I'm working on. So I know we just went on a tangent. I'm going to come back to this anti-algorithm blueprint, and I'm going to refocus us one more time on this. So there's a 3-step process before I showed you the Train AI button. There's a 3-step process for building your brand online that we want you guys to know about. The first is you're going to build that identifiable footprint. That footprint is in the analysis file. So Paul asked for Windows installation or window installation. And Paul, I should have asked you, this is this is a window installation like on a house, I assume, not like Windows, the operating system, because that would throw some different results and we would have to tell Content Maxima that. But I assume it's the house. So let me pull over.
Yeah, he put window installation behind it. So, but yeah, I guess, or replacement windows. I mean,
perfect. So yeah, and look at that. That's the first thing that's coming up, right? The node to window installations, window replacement. Let's go to the blueprint. So this blueprint, we're talking about an identifiable footprint for AI, for search engines, for social media, for video recommendation engines, voice engines, machine learning. Does not matter the tech. This right here, this file, the analysis file, this is that identifiable footprint. It's measuring the entities within the graph database. It's telling you that, hey, if you're doing window installation, Paul, well, the very first thing you have to talk about is window replacement. Because if you don't talk about window replacement, you sure as heck are not getting a window installation, right? That's primarily what the bots are expecting you to talk about. So this footprint here, column B, these are those 25 nodes that you would cover. And so when I ran the report, I asked for 25 related topics. These topics are the identifiable footprint that you should then be putting into everything. You should design your website this way. You should design your email campaigns this way. You should design your social media posts this way. You should design everything you do this way. And the reason being is every time a robot or a machine sees these subject matters, you are telling that robot, hey, I'm talking about window installation, like window replacement on a house or commercial property, not Windows installation on your computer, right? So these primary nodes disambiguate. They remove subjectivity. They remove confusion. They provide clarity, precise clarity to the robot that Paul's talking about window replacements and window installations. So wherever you go, Paul, this is the footprint that you build for your niche. Because when you talk about these subject matter and you publish them, could be in an image, could be in text, could be on video, because again, the robots can see the entities and see the words in all of the media now. Multimodal, you hear that with the AI, right? ChatGPT is multimodal. It can generate images. They have Sora. It generates video now. It generates text. Like all of these AIs are multimodal and tracking entities and looking for this DNA sequence. So here's your footprint. This is how you build. This is the information architecture. This is the plan. This is why we call it the blueprint. Now, you replicate this blueprint. So I said to you in the presentation, replicate it across all platforms. So to be 100% clear, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if I build my new brand website, these are the main pages I'm going to be doing. Now, if you're a little local company, Rob and I have talked about this in previous webinars, you might not have to have a page for everything here, right? You might just have one page on window installation. And on that window installation page, you mention window replacement, window repair, double glazing, energy efficient windows, vinyl windows. You explain all these things on one page, and you're the little local company. You can probably rank, get recommended, and make a bunch of money and live a happy life just with that one page if you're in a smaller market. Now, if you're doing this in New York City, you're going to need a heck of a lot more than one page to become authoritative. So that's when you would expand your strategy. You increase the scope to build more pages to signal to these robots and crawlers and search engines that you understand the topic better than the next guy. And so it's kind of like one-upping the next guy, because your competitor might cover 20 of these topics in the New York City area. Very competitive. But if you then come in and add 5 more that are super highly relevant because they're connected within the graph database, you can virtually entity stack or engineer or build your footprint slightly bigger, one node bigger, one idea bigger than your competitor. And now all of a sudden they were the authoritative person, but now you're the authoritative person because you've expanded that footprint and you've technically like beaten them, if that makes sense, because it's a concept or an idea and you're providing the most breadth and depth to that concept or idea. Am I explaining that well enough, Rob, before I continue?
Yeah, there was one quick question we'll jump on before we go on. Paul said, if there's some of the services they just do not offer, should we go ahead and remove those from the files?
So think about this way, Paul. The robot has to see these ideas in order to deem you authoritative. Now, to your point, maybe you don't like vinyl windows. Gosh, we hate working with them. We think they're total junk. There's way better solutions right now. Our company does not do vinyl windows. That's the contrarian way to include the concept so that you build your authority, but keep your goals, your business alignment, your desires on track. So simply by saying our company does not do vinyl windows. Well, I've said vinyl windows. So the fact that I've said it, I've acknowledged it exists, that is enough for the robot to say, wow, this ed guy really knows windows. Even though I simply just said I don't do the vinyl windows. Now it'll understand over time that you don't want the vinyl windows stuff, but you still might get customers asking you for vinyl windows. You still might rank for vinyl windows over the course of time. But again, that's your warning to people. Nope, we don't do vinyl windows. So you include the entity in a contrarian way. You say, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't do that. Just simply by including those words puts nodes, right? Because each one of those words is an entity, is a node in the graph database. It gives the footprint, the pattern. Now that is a part of the pattern, simply by saying no vinyl windows. So Paul, I would try to include these things because they're so semantically powerful to the machine's understanding, and they provide such value to the machine that even if you don't want it, that's how you do it. And we've had customers in the past, especially in the web world, who are like, I don't like doing Drupal websites. You build a whole page about why you don't like Drupal and you like WordPress more. You think that's a bad idea, but really that'll save you some headaches, because if you're constantly getting asked, hey, can you build me a Drupal website? And you're like, no, I only do WordPress. Well, I really want Drupal. No, actually, here's why you don't want Drupal. And you give them your article. So there's a lot of ways you can include things to your benefit, to your liking. So, all right. So let me go back to presentation. Rob, jump in if you want at any point.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that point too. So you could, like, if you don't do vinyl windows, we'll stick to that. Let's say we don't like vinyl because they are cheap. Maybe in your section, you can just talk about, a lot of customers are asking about vinyl windows. And since we're the best window company that's ever windowed, we prefer this type of window over vinyl for these reasons: efficiency, clean, whatever it is, right? So you're acknowledging it exists. You're explaining, if someone does happen to come across your site, that maybe they're just looking for windows, and they're like, oh, I never even thought about why someone may not want vinyl windows or whatever. You have a spot where you're talking to the bot, and if someone does come there, they may not have thought of the reason as to why, if there is a reason why you don't do them. Let's just say you don't like to. I would use wood windows as an example, right? We don't like to install wood because the wood eventually rots, and then you got to paint it, and you got to seal it, and you got to do all these things. Here's the reason: even though they may be a little cheaper at the beginning, the long-term cost benefit analysis that we've done as a company is vinyl windows, and our customers are always happier longer term. So that's why we have chosen to, we don't install those, because long term they tend to cause more headaches than not.
So you've got your footprint there, Paul. We showed it. Now replicating it across platforms, talking about all the things we just talked about and showed in that spreadsheet, those topics, right? And then using, just to be also clear, using these secondary nodes. So, hey, when you talk about window replacement, Paul, be sure to talk about window repair, energy efficient, double glazing, and window frame replacement. Those are the topics that the machine expects about this topic. So it's giving you that downstream. So these are the words and the concepts and the topics that you're going to cover. And so when you have to replicate it across all your social platforms, this is where. So if Content Maxima is the solution to discover the authority structure, the information architecture, then the way that you're going to replicate this blueprint or footprint across different social platforms, directories, social media, whatever, all the stuff, is use Maxima Bots. Use whatever AI you're using, your writers and all that stuff, and feed it these concepts in words. Give it the analysis report. Say to it, hey, I need to build a content out around this subject matter. Now, Maxima Bots is designed to keep everything in the stadium for you, right? It's not going to go off and do crazy things. And if it does, let us know. We'll fix it. But that's step 2, is to talk about all that stuff everywhere else. So on your website, Paul, for window installation, great. You're talking about it. You have everything designed. Well, what about that same stuff on your Pinterest and on your Facebook and on your YouTube? And when I say same stuff, design your accounts and your profiles with that same structure. So if it's a Pinterest account you're doing, name your photo albums, right? On the Pinterest account. I have an album that's called Window Replacement, and I have a picture of every single one of my guys who's every window they replace, I make them take a photo of that window, just so that I have content to stick in the window replacement album. Window repair. Every time we replace a cracked window, right? We take a picture of it, we put it in this album. Double glazing. Every time we order double glazed windows, we take pictures of them, we put them in this album. What it's doing is it's keeping that structure, that information architecture, the footprint that the machine is looking for and scanning the web for. It's showing that again, but now it's showing it on Pinterest, not your website. Same thing on YouTube. When you go to YouTube, you're going to have playlists. Well, guess what, Paul? Why not have a playlist all about window repair and a playlist about energy efficient windows, right? But you might say to me, and this is where the human element comes in, Paul. You might say, well, gosh, I'm a small business. I'm not going to have 100 videos. Okay, well then instead of having a whole playlist on energy efficient windows, make sure you at least have one video that has energy efficient windows in the title, so that when the robots are scanning your brand, it associates your brand with energy efficient windows in your geolocation of where your customers are looking. So this is literally the content strategy, because it's the data points the bots are looking for. And if you have the data points the bots are looking for, guess what happens? You get recommended. If you don't have the data points the bots are looking for, you get ignored. That's all this is. People who pour their heart and soul into their content and their marketing and into their business, like they feel like, oh, I spent 10 hours on this article, like it's got to get me a customer. The robots don't care. They don't care if you spent 10 seconds or 10 hours. They don't care. They're looking for these entities. They're looking for the footprint. If you replicate the footprint every single place you go, you then are associating these concepts at the data science level to your brand. Now, the final step, you got to do social posts, you got to do videos, you got to do all this stuff about those topics in the analysis report. The final step is claiming and linking all of your digital assets together. So what do we mean by that? If you go to contentmaxima.com right now, and we scroll to the bottom, I have links here to our Facebook, our TikTok, our Pinterest, our Twitter, our YouTube, all our social profiles, our Flickr, right? All the stuff here. Now, most of the crawlers are smart enough to then realize, okay, we're on Content Maxima's website. It's linking off to these profiles. It goes to them and it realizes, oh, these are Content Maxima's profiles. But it really doesn't set in. It doesn't get locked in. That's the difference. We need to lock it in. I need you guys to claim your social profiles, your business directory listings, the listing of you at the Chamber of Commerce, any type of citation on the web that's credible or profile that's yours. You have an opportunity to claim it. Now, we just run the Content Maxima website on Squarespace. Nothing special. Click and drag builder was easy so that we could pay attention to building the software, not worried about our website. Looks good, functions, mobile friendly, blah, 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 right? So one of the things that Squarespace does that I don't love is they're pretty bad at schematic architecture, but at least they do it, because most people in the world, most brands in the world are not using it. And I wanted to, And I have to find if it's in the code here. I want to show you guys same as. And the only same as that's coming up right now is same as retail location. I might have to show another website with schema, Rob, that has same as. Do you have one, or am I going to have to dig for one? You hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry I was muted. I got like a little cough, so I was muting myself so I didn't cough in the microphone. Yeah, I'll find one.
All right, so let's go to schema.org so people know what the heck I'm talking about. So schema, if you're in the SEO industry, there's going to be a lot of mixed opinions on schema. A lot of SEOs say this is bullshit, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. Years ago, Google said, hey, if you want to talk to the search engine and you want to show up in snippets and interactive media that we're starting to populate, use schema and you can get featured in these snippets and a bunch of other reasons that you would use schema. But the most important reason you would use schema is not for ranking. It's not for all the stuff that people want to talk about. It's for brand. It's literally giving you the opportunity to, in the AI's native language, right, to tell it, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is where we're located, these are our hours, these are our primary products and services, and it does it all in code. So the same as schema is so important, and I'll have to do a search here. There's a property. Now, there's a ton of stuff you can do in schema, but if you did one thing in your life, this is the one thing to do. Same as is telling, so it's expecting a URL, and it's telling the search engines that a specific property is your property. So let me do something quick here too, Rob, because I don't have an example and I don't know.
I just dropped one in Slack, American Chiropractors.
Okay. All right, let's do that. Hold on.
If you just copy that whole thing, it'll pull up the source code. And you can do a control F for same as, and it'll show you the few I have listed in there.
All right. All right, here we go. So Rob has this website, American Chiropractors. It's like a directory website of chiropractors, and he's done a bunch of tests. We were doing like bulk content tests and all sorts of cool stuff. So in the schematic architecture, there's this same as feature. You list the URLs to your social media accounts. You list it to your Chamber of Commerce. You list it to, again, your videos, any type of press releases or major spots that your brand was featured. And what this is doing is it's connecting the dots for all of the robots and crawlers. It's telling them, hey, we're American Chiro. And by the way, this over here, this is my blog spot. And this here, this is my Twitter account. And this here, this is my WordPress account, my Tumblr, and my YouTube, and my Facebook, and my Instagram. Now, because I told it, these are the same as me. I claimed them. It's my brand. It becomes part of the footprint. So all of the stuff that I put on that Facebook profile, on that Pinterest page, on that Twitter profile, on whatever, the entities, the ideas, the words, the imagery, all of that stuff is now being credited to my brand. It's being absorbed into the footprint. So if I don't manually tell these robots and crawlers that this is me in other places, it has to assume. And the last thing you want to do is have a robot assume, because it's going to make the wrong decisions. And many of us, especially small business owners and stuff like that, you're going to get into with a client who's got 3 Facebook pages because they had this first agency that started this page and this second one over here that started that page. And this is how you clean stuff up like that, because now all of a sudden I can, say, no, this is my Facebook page. This new one I just opened over here, not these others that exist on the web, right? You can remove those and get them out of your footprint because you're not manually saying this one's mine, this one's mine, this one's mine. The other thing that this allows you to fix, has anybody ever had a client that when you search for their brand, their Instagram page comes up first or their Facebook comes up first? Can I get like a 1 in chat if you guys have ever seen that, where you're looking for a company or a brand and one of their social profiles comes up before their website, above their website? So like Instagram's number 1, Facebook's number 2, and they're number 3, their website. That's a problem to me, because I prefer sovereignty in business. I want my own space, because if Instagram goes down, if Facebook goes down, I want to still be in control. I don't want to be at their mercy. So people out there who have these brands and companies, they don't know any better. And so what happens to them is their Instagram, because it's Instagram, because it's Facebook, these are super authoritative platforms. Because they have that authority, they're actually more authoritative than your own website. So they outrank your own website, even though it's yours. So how do you fix that? I'll tell you right here. You same as them. The second you do a same as in Schema, and by the way, you don't need to know how to code Schema. We have a great tool called Schema Tech that can code Schema. These AI bots will code Schema, right? Any of them. But if I could just give you the one piece of building a brand online that nobody does right, it's this one. There are more things you can do in Schema. I could teach you all sorts of crazy stuff. Rob, who was my teacher of Schema, could teach you even more. He knows so much about nesting and really building it out into incredible things. But this is where brands go wrong online. They don't claim their footprint. They let the robots assume, oh, that Facebook page over there, that's them. And the robots get it wrong. So all of a sudden you got some business that's not yours. Their Facebook page is showing up when we're writing your business's name. That's a problem. That's a big problem. So don't let these big social platforms and big registry type websites, your Angie's, and if you're on anything, right? If you're a vendor on some of these vendor type websites, if you're a wedding vendor and you're on the Knot or any of that type of stuff, don't let those companies own you. No. Get your sovereignty. Take it back. Do a same as and get things in the right order. Does that make sense? So to go back to this lesson, you find the information structure to go to market with using Content Maxima, specifically the analysis file. So you get that footprint, you know the structure that you're going to go messaging out into the world. Then you replicate that structure across everything that you do. Anywhere I have a social profile, guess what? I talk about the same stuff. Anywhere I have a citation, I talk about the same stuff. And then finally, I make a list of all of those places that I've replicated that same information, and I claim it. I claim it through schematic architecture, and I tell all of these AIs and crawlers and search engines and social bots, this is my brand. This is who I am. If you do these 3 steps, you can't be ignored. Your brand is unignorable because it's no longer just your authority. Now, when they're looking at your window company, Paul, well, Paul's got a reputable window company. It looks like a reputable website. And he's got that reputable Facebook page, that reputable Instagram, that reputable TikTok, that YouTube, like the Chamber of Commerce listing. It now, every time you have a reputable place, you're getting brownie points, right? Oh, yep, there's Paul's window company. Yep, oh, he's over here. Yep, we got him here. So now you have this massive footprint that you've put together so that the robots didn't have to. And by you taking the manual effort and just doing a same as and slapping it on your website, your entire world can change. So that's the quick lesson. I know I didn't go into all of these slides, but yeah, be everywhere in the right footprint, the right format, talk about the right stuff. And all of those signals you get from those platforms are going to help your brand. Google's going to pay attention. Facebook's going to pay attention. ChatGPT, Claude, all of them are going to pay attention because they all like schema. They all like that language. It's their native tongue. So they're going to give you preferential treatment. So when people tell you schema doesn't rank, it's worthless, it's not worth your time, forget anything anybody says. Do yourself a favor, write a little bit of same as schema, claim all your profiles, and all of a sudden watch what happens. I guarantee you, if you have a somewhat reputable brand or brand that's been around for a couple of years, just doing a same as, manually inserting it, all of those social profiles and website, I would bet you see an increase in impressions, click-throughs, activity, traffic, whatever metric that you're looking for, right? Whatever your KPIs are, whatever you want to pay attention to, you would see an uptick simply because by doing the same as, now the machines understand who you are and what you do and understand where you live online. They know where your profiles are. And this is the most white hat, most beneficial. In fact, they've encouraged this for years and people don't do it, but it's the greatest thing you could do for your brand online. And so many people, a lot of the big brands too, they get this wrong. And they shouldn't, because the big brands have bigger problems. Rob can talk about this. If you're doing McDonald's online, you're looking for McDonald's and stuff, right? Like in my town alone, I can get to 3-4 different McDonald's in under 5 miles away, right? So there's all sorts of, especially you guys who do like local SEO and stuff, the schema can help you, fix that. Hey, this McDonald's keeps telling me to go to the McDonald's that's 7 miles away instead of the one that's 1 mile away. Like you can manually fix your brand's assets online with schema. And the reason this also excites me, and I hope it excites you guys too, is that in the physical world, we do not have a chance. I cannot go and compete against McDonald's. They have tens of thousands of restaurants all over the world. They have, hundreds of thousands of employees. They have billions of dollars of assets. I cannot compete. They will crush me. I can't own the number of buildings. I can't hire the staff. I can't do all that. But in the digital world, I can compete because if I really wanted to compete against other physical locations, I can pop those locations in the digital world. I can make those profiles and listings. I can tie them all together. I can use schematic architecture. I can engineer my brand to be recommended over McDonald's. And you don't have to beat them everywhere. You just have to beat them where you want to beat them. So I, over the years, have done a lot in e-commerce. Amazon has been the culprit for me, right? Amazon is over 50% of all online transactions. They dominate the search engine result page. And it has been my mission to try to outrank Amazon for specific products. And I've been able to do it. And the way you do it is you build this network of information, all the right nodes, and you put it out there on the web and you interconnect them all and then you claim them all. And all of a sudden, you're more authoritative on one thing, not everything. Amazon's going to crush me on millions of different products, but that one product that I've engineered and I've spent the time to build a bigger footprint and build my authority, I can outrank Amazon. And really, there shouldn't be a world where one single guy like me in my sweatpants in my office should be able to compete with a brand that's that big. But the potential's there. And it's through this method that Rob and I have teach. And I learned this method from Rob, just so you guys know. So please get your footprint, duplicate it across all your stuff, and then claim all your stuff. Please, for the love of God, claim it. And you'll have a brand. You'll have a stronger brand than you've ever had before. And this can be done if the brand already exists as well. Don't feel like, oh gosh, I got to start a whole new business and a whole new website because I didn't do this. No. Just stick it in now. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need the same as. You could slip it in there. If you have a website builder that you can put a code block in, you can slap in some schema. and fix your branding issues. And every page you can put this information on, and we can get into more schema stuff. But yeah, just get that same as on your homepage right now, and I think a lot of your branding issues will go away. Rob, any questions? I know I've been rambling on.
No, I don't have any questions. And then for you guys online, I dropped in a free training course on schema into the chat. Yes, there's going to be upsells. I mean, blah, 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 more marketers as far as that goes. But you can just sign up for the free course and just get that if you want. And it'll at least give you a base grounding of what schema is, and even teach you how to write it yourself and how to learn how to write it. Because often I think people don't do things because they're afraid of it. And this will help to demystify schema. Yes, it's code, but it's not hard to do. And there's lots of tools out there, but this will show you what they're doing and how basically by knowing what the tools are doing and how they're writing it, it can show you how to even add to whatever generator you may use. I mean, we have a schema generator as well, but I'm not trying to sell that on to you guys or whatever, but this will at least help you to take generic schema, because if everybody's using the exact same things, and we always want to do a little bit better than everybody else, if everybody's using the same generators, then you're not distinguishing yourself, right? So go get that, learn how to insert your own information in there, and you can go through that course pretty quick. It's pretty, I try to make it as simplified as possible. Yes, the larger course goes into great detail about things, but just this little course at least will demystify what schema is and how to kind of code it and what to look for.
So I see Alex said here too, do I also include press releases in the same as schema? So the strategy that we would suggest to you is, if you're doing press releases, you're going to have some sort of hub for those press releases. Either, and you should build out a hub for your client. Like if you're an agency, they should have their own PR hub on whatever press release service you're using. And that page should be in your same as. You can, I've seen it in, it's probably more in specific page use. So instead of like your homepage, like on your homepage, I would do a link to their press profile. Like if it's, I don't know, PR Web or whatever service you're using, they're going to have a company profile page on that domain. That's the one you put in the same as schema on the homepage. If you're in a specific article, and Rob can correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's another opportunity to do some same as for that article more specifically. And that would be an opportunity. Like if you have an article on a topic and you also mention this press release that you're in, you could, use that press release as a citation for that article and connect the data that way in the schema. You could say, hey, this is the press release for this. Does that make sense? Did I explain that, Rob?
Yeah, I was going to jump in. Just
please
try to simplify it, because I could go days for on schema. Like I've spent days. I've spent months and years on it. But
yeah, we have.
So the shorter answer is no. Don't include your press releases in your same as, because if you do a press release, you're going to have 500 press releases, right? And I'm not saying that some people do, but they're also, those same press releases disappear after some time. A lot of places purge their press releases. So then you're going to have same as in your schema that you're going to have to then keep up with and say, oh, well, now I'm saying I'm the same as this website I'm pointing the bots to that doesn't exist anymore.
And
you start to be like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. So the way around that, is a lot of the press release companies have a organization page that will list all the different press releases you've done with their company on one page. So you put that in there, because a lot of the time those become like a we like to call them a hub, an entity hub on the web. It's going to have your name, address, phone number, all your information about your business, and it's going to have listed all the different press releases about your business. So that would be a good page to put in your same as, because by sending the bot to that page, then that page is going to have, they can crawl the links that go to all the different web pages or all the different press releases. The other place that you can do, so let's say you get some crazy, amazing press release and you're the front page of CNN or whatever, right? You want to leverage that. I wouldn't put that as a same as, but I would probably, and this is where you can get real deep, and there's 100 ways to use schema, there's a place where you can put mentions, right? Where you've been mentioned by other places, and you can build that in your schema. So you could write an article about, hey, we got mentioned here, here, and here, and then in your schema, say, you know, you have an article schema, talks about your article, and it says mentioned, and then you put the URL to the press release where you were mentioned, if it's a real strong press release or something like that. So there's 100 different ways to leverage that. And I go into some of that on that free course where you can, I show you on schema.org. There's no place on the internet where you can just go and say, make me schema, and it's going to make everything that's possible, because it doesn't exist. It isn't, it's infinity. So at some point, I mean, there are diminishing returns. You know, I'm not going to point any fingers, but some people have, you know, they'll put every zip code in the whole United States, right? And there's things about that. But then if you're, it kind of goes down to where Ed was saying beating Amazon. He wants to beat them in specific products or locations. Well, if you tell Google I cover every zip code in the whole world, well, then basically you're telling them you don't really focus on anywhere, right? So start small and focus. You know, you're trying to just pick off specific areas. So focus in exact areas, and then slowly expand it out as you start to take over areas. So, you know, you got to try to strategically think about it as well. So, but yes, it's extremely powerful because you can connect. I mean, the database, and in that free course, there's also where I go into Google's nothing but a graphical database, and I give you a free training on kind of how Google's designed. And I use Google as an example, but most of the other platforms are the same way. They're a graphical database. They have nodes, entities, edges. Basically, you have your brand and you have a link to another thing, right? That's all that schema is you're helping to connect those dots and build this graph or this web. There's a reason it's called the internet, or it's called the World Wide Web, because if you step back and you look at how everything's connected, it looks like a spider web. Right. So that's what you're trying to do, is you want to connect all your pieces on the web together for the bots so they don't have to figure it out. That's what schema helps to do. So.
And one final thing I'll say, when you put these URLs in the schema, the bot goes. Like, it forces it to go look at what you want it to go look at. It can't decide, oh, I'm tired now, I'm going to skip that link there. Like, you're forcing it to go look at all the links that you say to look at. Like, it has to process that code, and you get to tell it where to go look. Whereas if it's just browsing the website, it may or may not, in that crawl, go to the page that you want it to, right? You can't really control Google's crawler or, you know, OpenAI's crawler or whatever. Like, you don't have that level of control. But what you do have is when that bot shows up, if you have the schema, you do have a little bit of control. And having that little bit of control is super powerful. Super, super powerful. Yeah. This is a cool slide. Check this out. Every platform is a plot of land. Some claim it. Most don't even know it exists. Which one are you? So yeah, you're basically claiming your plots of land in your empire.
Yep. You're putting down your, what they call it, on a plot of land. You have your the points, the corners, the survey. You're staking your survey to the spots where you are.
By the way, Rob, this is a pretty good presentation for it's just throw it together. So
well done.
Well done. Look at me. I'm a rock star and build stuff while you guys are right here waiting. Yeah. So huge lesson in what we do. And just so you guys know too, everything that we do here is off of this same concept. The reason we talk graph databases, the reason we keep using words like edge and node, most people are like, that's stupid, I don't want to listen to that. Well, no, this is the foundation of how everything's built. So once you understand that foundation, all of the tricks and gimmicks and tactics and things that people are preaching to you guys, they work for a while. Some of them never work. But this foundational stuff, like building your brand with schema, like, this isn't a trick. This isn't a gimmick. This is the foundation. It's the basics. It's what all of the the platforms, all of the bots, all of the AI, everything is using.
Yeah, it's basically, I'll give a cooking example here, right? A lot of the tricks and the gimmicks you see is someone putting fancy icing on a piece of cake, right? So you got this pretty cake that showed up, like, oh man, and Google might see that and be like, ooh, this looks like a nice piece of cake. Let me rank that real quick. But as soon as they cut into it, they realize, oh, well, they didn't put any egg in this cake, and as soon as I cut it, it's just all flour and dust and everything underneath all that icing. So gimmicks may work for a short bit, but if you don't have the true base of what you're doing, those gimmicks only work for so long. And that's what a lot of people, they're constantly just chasing the next shiny object or the next quick gimmick. And I'm not going to say they don't work, but they're short lived. Because, if you go cut into a piece of cake and they forget, it looks pretty because they got the new gimmick on top. So the icing looks cool. But as soon as you cut into it, you're like, what in the world's going on? And that's when you go from, oh, look, it's looking great, and then tank, and you'll never re-rank that. Nobody's ever going to try your cake again. And Google's the same way. They're not going to come back and try your cake just because you made it look pretty and they knew that you were, tricking them. They're like, I'm out. I'm not going to trust this guy again, even if he bakes the best cake ever. I'm done. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it. So a lot of people shoot themselves in the foot by always taking the shortcuts as well, without building the base in which to build their site on.
I like schema too, and linking and claiming my assets, because it makes me feel like as a business owner, I feel like the commander of a fleet now, right? Like I have everything connected. I have all my ships, all my soldiers, however you want to look at it. I have everything together. And what's nice about that is as these algorithms update and change, because there's always a new factor, we'll never know what factors, what weight each factor is in an algorithm. We'll just never know the math. It's proprietary. It's something that Rob and I can't even crack. But if you build your brand this way, you become less shakeable. I don't want to say unshakable. That's the wrong, the wrong promise. The potential for you to survive any algorithm change drastically increases if you use schema and same as and claim all your assets, because you have all your boats together, your whole army together, and all of a sudden, today Pinterest profiles matter more than Facebook profiles because some executive inside Google decides so. Boom. Well, you already have your profile. You already have the right words on that profile. It's already connected and in your footprint. So when the algorithm shifts and the whole world flips upside down and people start screaming that they've lost all their web traffic, this and that, you see less validity. Validity. Oh my God, that's not the wrong word. Volatile, right?
Yeah, volatility.
Volatility. Thank you, Rob. I'm tongue twisting myself here. Yes, you're going to see less boat rocking because you have all your stuff connected and you're a bigger vessel now. You're a bigger footprint. So when they change things, your boat just kind of tips around, whereas other people, they sink. They're gone. Never see them again. So it just makes you a little bit more bulletproof. You're not going to die in one shot. It might take 10 shots, right? So you have that body armor. You have that brand armor.
Yep.
All right, that's the lesson I wanted to talk about today. And no matter where you guys are at, if it's a new brand or if it's a brand you've had for years or your personal brand, right? All of these things can be built the same way with schema and that same process. And for the record, Rob and I don't just teach this stuff. We've actually done it. So the way that I've been able to have successful e-com stores and do millions of dollars in transactions is using these foundations and schema. The way that I was able to break a world record sale for my e-com store was schema. The way I was able to get hired by private equity for consultations was schema. If you want to know how important schema is, our friend, we should bring DC on sometime. DC Glenn. Yeah. So just so you guys, if you don't know who he is, let's go. Tag team. We're going to do a Google search for tag team. He has the #1 schema case study in existence in the world. So it used to be right? And here it is, tag team Wikipedia wrestling. If you put in tag team, you would only get WWE. That's all that, because they have the tag team championship, right? The wrestling championship, where you can get the belt. Tag team champions of the world, that whole thing, right? That was the
Yep.
only thing that came up. DC has spent years, and it's a constant battle. He'll tell you this flip flops, and I've seen it flip flop. Right now, DC's out. The wrestling is the number one tag team. Let's see if he's coming up anywhere, or if his entity's getting crushed. So he's number 6 right here. Number 6. So depending on the day, the definition of tag team, according to Google, changes. Some days it's the wrestling team. Some days it's the music group. And this, he was able to, at the moment, it's not showing this way, but it could just be my device, my geolocation, whatever. You guys can search tag team and see if the music group or the wrestlers come up first. But a few years back, he took Rob's schema course. He became an expert at schema. He went way off the deep end, doing crazier things and teaching Rob and I stuff on schema. But the moral of the story is he was able to win the Geico commercial, the Super Bowl commercial. Do you guys remember? There was a scoop. There it is. It's an ice cream Geico commercial. DC is in the kitchen scooping ice cream during the Super Bowl. It's his commercial. They sent him on a national tour on a bus. It was his biggest payday ever as a 9-time platinum recording artist. So he was popular, back in the 80s. I don't know the exact dates. I hope I'm not slaughtering your dates here, DC. We could do the research, but yeah, late 80s, 90s. He was a big hip hop duo, right? So he basically has been successful his whole life, but he'll even talk about this sometimes, feeling like a one hit wonder. You got this song that goes 9 times, or your album goes 9 times platinum for the song, but then what are you doing with the rest of your life? DC is a hustler. He's always been working, always doing gigs. Well, he learned schema, took Rob's course, implemented it onto his music group tag team's website, fought the entity battle here on Google, wound up. He said to his agent called him, said, DC, you're never going to believe this. You got the Geico commercial. And DC's like, oh, stop. I didn't apply for a Geico commercial. And they were like, no, they were Google searching, and you guys came up and they sent the offer in, and all you got to do is sign. So he won that Super Bowl commercial by literally fighting WWE tag team, that entity on Google, and getting himself up there to be found. So that's the greatest case study ever, because that payday for him to be in a Super Bowl commercial, I mean, oh my gosh, that's got to be a dream. I don't care what level of an artist you are, if you're current or pastime type artist, it doesn't matter who you are. Anybody would want to be in a Super Bowl commercial. Let's be real, right? It's everybody's watching the Super Bowl. So yeah, he's had massive success from schema, and we know other people too. But those are the building blocks. I'm going to put this together as a PDF eventually. I'll get it to you guys. Any other questions as we wind down here tonight? We got another 15 minutes. Otherwise, we can log off early. But let us know if questions, thoughts. Let us know if you want us to run a Maxima Bot quick. Let us know. Otherwise, we'll keep going, but we'll give it a second.
Yeah, I can nerd out on all this stuff. That's what's funny.
Oh, we could sit here for hours. I know. Hours and hours and hours. So yeah, big news. 2,100 Maxima Bots and a train AI button. It does not get any easier than that. Train your AI, head over to Maxima Bots, generate content, crush the competition. All right. Paul's headed out. Have a good night, Paul. And yeah, just for the heck of it, Rob, I don't even know. Let's see what's in here. Schema. They got local business.
See, I'd like to try to. This is a. I'm spitballing here, so nobody holding
Mhm.
my feet to the fire. I'd like to figure out how to use a bot to connect to our software
Yes.
and combine them.
Well, that's next step for sure. And I don't know how good
Oh
these
yeah.
are. The difference between, just so you guys know, these Maxima bots is we don't know what the output's going to be. I've never even run these bots. We're learning. We talk about this every week. We're building it as we go. We're learning. Rob's Schema Tech software works well, and it does something that no other schema generator is going to do. It's called nesting. Is that the right thing?
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Yeah. So he allows and he shows you in his course and with his software, right? Rob shows you that you can nest schematic architecture. You can kind of stack it, right? And you can give the robots more to chew on than they typically would chew on. And you can give them lots and lots of information about your brand. And I don't want to say like stuff them, but I've pushed the limits as Rob was hinting at earlier. I've broken his software. He put me on my own server, banned me from the regular user pool because I broke his software. Sorry, Rob. But we found the limits. Like we know how far to push schema now, and the truth is, less is more. I'll be the first one to admit it because I went too far. But there's an opportunity to list all sorts of stuff, and we can go on it some other time. But I mean, there's so many things, and if you're ever interested, schema.org. You can see all the different property types that you can include. And this allows you to like even set your like industry, right? Like you can tell it precisely we're a plumbing company and there's like a code or a schema type for that specific industry. And the whole point of this is alignment, right? If you get your brand aligned to the right stuff, the right concepts, and the robots understand it, then you're recommended. So browse this. And if you're interested in more advanced schema stuff, Rob's got his Schema Tech. You guys could always check out and try. We'll have to try a Maxima Bot schema. Let me try one and just see if it works, Rob. I have no idea what we're about to do. So I have no information on Paul's window company, but I'm literally just going to write in here, Paul's window company. And I'm going to give him a fake phone number. Let's just see. Who knows what's going to happen? It's never been used before.
Yeah, Paul said there's multiple bots for schema that seem to do the same thing.
Yeah,
They
so
will
we got to
definitely do
filter them
similar
out.
things. The software we has lets you like it. It's crazy, but anyway.
Some sort of error.
Yeah, that was a Chrome error.
Interesting. I wonder if it's one of these like characters in here because you know what it was for me before when I was getting some errors. It didn't like emojis in the business context area, so I had one of the AIs fill out some business info, and it totally messed up because of the emoji. So there's some weird, quirky things, and this is exactly why we want you to use this stuff. Is we'll get the quirky things hammered out. So this one's failing. We'll see if it just fails. We'll have to fix it. Yeah, that one's failing. Let's go back and try a different one while we got a minute. Let's do a FAQ schema generator. So uploading those window files. Waiting is a good sign because usually if it fails early. So the fact that this one's waiting is a little bit more encouraging. There we go. All right, let's see what came out.
Well, the fact it's an Excel file is going to mess with some people, depending on how I put it in there.
Yeah.
That might be one that we go in and we tell it to do it as a JSON file.
Oh, well, it's FAQ, so this is actually nice. But yeah, to your point, it could write the whole FAQ for them. But yeah, here's your question.
Okay.
Here's the answer. Here's the schema.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really nice because it's pulling common window questions. How many does it give us? Let's see. Yeah, that's super nice. 20 questions and answers, all about your industry and niche. Amazing. And again, this is your chance to come in here. If you have a discrepancy with what's being said, it's not $300 to $1,000 per window. It's $2,000 per window because glass is more expensive. This is where you guys have to use the human element, come in and edit this stuff. But look at this. Like, you need FAQs, you need the FAQ schema. It's all right here for you. You can just run with it. So this one, Rob, I'm going to, I should have rated the other one bad, right? I'm going to rate this one good so we know it works. So I'll say helpful. I'm going to give it 5 stars because the output is actually pretty good. Whereas the last bot we were just showing is broken and needs to be fixed. So that's why we're doing this. Alrighty. Last call before we cut this webinar off for the night.
I don't see any more.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. We hope that the Train AI button is exciting. We hope that the additional 1,000 Maxima Bots is exciting. And we hope you learned something about establishing your brand online tonight. And we will get together some sort of PDF for giveaway called the Anti-Algorithm Blueprint with more in-depth explanations of what we covered this evening in the webinar. But we'll give you guys some guidance, again, to either build a new brand or to fix a brand that already exists and get them perfectly aligned and, of course, recommended by whatever platforms you guys are doing your marketing on. So thanks so much for joining us this evening. Anything else, Rob?
Nope, that's all I got. Good one, man.
All right, cool. Well, we're signing off. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Take care.
See you guys.